welcome everyone. This is the fortnightly SIG etcd triage meeting. My name is James. I'm an etcd maintainer. This is the fortnightly meeting to try and keep the project organized, to try and stay on top of pull requests and issues, and we often assign out some sort of easier good first issues during this session as well. Hopefully we'll have a few more people join as we get into it. So we've got a shared Google Doc with the agenda for the session. Anyone that is subscribed to the etcd dev mailing list will be able to add or propose their own items on the agenda as well. I'll just put the link into chat. There it is. Okay, so we'll make a start. The first couple items are for the Kubernetes repo. The first one's actually for the version upgrade for 3.5.16, and I've just realized I'm actually not signed into GitHub on this Chrome browser, which is a bit interesting. So I will just get that done so we can do some comments. All right, there we go. Cool. All right. So having a look at this earlier, it looked like it was all put together. Just the tests were failing, and it hasn't been touched for a couple of weeks. So I was just going to hit it with a retest and see if that's still an issue. If it is, we need to look into these. So there was one particular test someone was calling out previously for, I think it was IPv6. Yeah. And I can't think like why that would be impacted by the version bump for 3.5.16. So we'll just see what happens with the retest. But if anyone is interested in helping with the main Kubernetes repo, this is an etcd related PR that we need to push forward. So please, feel free to keep an eye on these test runs and investigate any failures that come up. It'd be great to get this merged to finish off the upgrade for Kubernetes to etcd 3.5.16. So that's a pretty quick one first. I can see we've got a comment from Nevin. Been looking at an issue for a while. Will it be a good first issue? Let me just bring that up. We'll have a look at it. What do we have? Oh, log spam on missing nether. Yeah, I remember a bit of discussion on this earlier in the year. Let me just reread to catch back up.
So I did go through the code base today morning. I just found this issue today. And from what I could say, we have that select going on, which is constantly spamming these logs. So I wanted to reproduce this issue on my system before I went ahead and tried fixing it. So I just wanted to know if this would be a good issue for me to pick up. I'm pretty new here.
Yeah, great question. Just catching up on the latest comments in there. So we did assign it out last month to Mello. I think what we should probably do is follow up with them and just see how they're getting on. Because normally, like we don't like if someone's assigned an issue, we don't like assign it a second time unless they're having some trouble with it or want some help, or don't have time to work on it anymore. So we'll follow up with them. I do have there's another good first issue coming up.
I've been so regarding. So I'm just gonna make a comment. So I've seen sometimes a little bit of contention on these issues that have the help wanted label. So I've been trying, once I assign to someone, I'm trying to remove maybe the help wanted, so it's very clear that someone has been assigned to that issue. I don't know if we should do that, but I've been doing, so I've seen like, because we keep the label and even though it's assigned, so I see that sometimes another person raises up the pull request, but yeah, it could be a little bit disrespectful with the previous assignee.
It's probably a good idea to take those labels off. I
Mhm.
agree. Let's start doing that more
Mhm.
broadly. Let's just ask Mello how they're going. Okay, and I'll just take a note of that in our meeting notes as well. So that we have...
Okay. If you paste it, I'll do the note taking.
Thanks, Ivan. Yeah. Yeah, thanks for raising that one, Nevin. There'll be a couple other opportunities, I think, in this meeting for some good first issues. So keep an eye on those, and we'll see what Mello replies with on that one.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, next Kubernetes issue is a bug that needs triage. It's raised earlier this year. There have been a couple of people, I think, this person here has reproduced it in a couple different versions, but no one from the etcd project is looking at it currently. So it's a little bit interesting. It seems to be a recent etcd version has triggered it, potentially, because it's only appeared in Kubernetes 128.12 forward. I think a good next step for this would be for someone from the etcd project to just try and make like a little bash script or something that can reproduce it. So they're using etcd 3.5.12. So there's a couple, like there's some very brief reproduce steps. Essentially fire up a control plane, run kubectl proxy, and then repeatedly curl the metrics endpoint, and apparently that's enough to trigger it. This person's also setting verbosity to try and get the actual error messages out. It's probably not a good first issue, but if someone does want to contribute to the main Kubernetes repo, this would be a good issue to triage and investigate and try and reproduce. And I think a good next step would be to make a little bash script that can reproduce it. I'll probably leave that one there, but if you are interested, yeah, feel free to drop a comment in there and just try and reproduce it. Okay, onto the main etcd repo. First one here, we've got a decision on if we need to backport it. If we do, the backports would be a trivial sort of good first thing to work on. But this is around the documentation for watch response cancelled. And I think the original PR is all merged. It is. And we don't have any backport labels yet. So let me just have a think about this. So it's only gone to main currently. I don't see any harm in backporting it. It's just, oh, hang on. It is tinkering with proto. Let's ask, like normally we would only backport if it's a bug or a security issue, and it's a meaningful bug. This is more of just an improvement, so we probably just leave it at main. There are some documentation issues, like documentation updates that potentially need to be made as well. This should actually be talking about 3.6. All right, we'll come back to the website stuff. No, I think we'll close down this issue because I don't think there's a case for backporting this. Ivan, what do you think? Any disagreement there?
To backport?
Yeah.
So I think it's fine, but I don't know if Ben will like it.
I would say we don't.
Mhm.
It's just a very small improvement on some descriptions. So
Yeah, agreed. No.
cool. Okay, that's one less in the queue. Close that one out. Awesome. What is next? We've got a PR that needs some review. Let's have a look. Okay, actually, I'm going to take this one out because I noticed there is a couple comments from Marek, and there's some work that still needs to be done. It's in draft, so I'm going to take this one out of the queue. Thanks,
I
Adam.
deleted it.
Awesome. Next one is a bug, which I think we can triage as a support issue. So when we have a look at this, it was just raised 7 hours ago. Someone's got a little bare metal set up with a few Intel NUCs that they've got Talos running on, and they've let it run for a week, and entities apparently fell over due to some panic. Apparently, it's not a memory, like a resource contention kind of issue, but there isn't really like I don't have a stack of NUCs just sitting around I could test this on with like the exact ones. There's no clear reproduce steps. So I think we need to make this a support issue. Also, I really don't like when people attach zip files because it's such a common like security thing, where people send you like an archive attachment and then there's malicious crap in it. So I'm kind of loath to touch that zip file. But we'll make it a support issue and we can discuss back and forth and get a bit more information. I can see Thomas is already clarifying a couple of things there. So
I
let's
think
convert
I
it.
have a similar, maybe like I have a similar setup, but not all the nodes are like NUCs. Only two of them are out of like the five. And I have like I'm pretty certain, I think it's 3511 or whatever it's bundled with K3S. And that seems to have run fine. Like, I mean, my nodes have been
Yeah.
up for like a straight, I would say at least 30 days. Like my wife hasn't complained, so things are like fine probably.
Yeah, look, I think there would be a lot of clusters out there that are 3-node on bare metal and running just fine. I think there's probably just not enough info here for us to narrow down.
Yeah, I
So
think it also depends on like the type of storage and then which, like even maybe different Intel versions and whatnot. Like because I think HDD is so like storage sensitive. Maybe I have no idea. Like this seems like a very generic issue.
So it appears to be a support issue. This will be converted to a discussion. All right, cool. So we've done that. Let's convert it. Put it in Q&A. Convert. Right, so it is not type bug. It's support. Won't put an area on it yet. Okay. So probably the number one question I have is also what storage is there? And if they can capture some metrics over time, would be really useful. Okay, that's enough on that one for now. Let's move on. What do we got next? We've got an issue that we need to follow up the contributor on. Oh, got a typo on that. Here we go. It's been assigned out. So I think Daniel was working on this, but there's no updates since July. So let's just check in with them, see how they're doing. It would be a good, probably a good first issue for someone else to pick up. If they...
The thing is that there's many packages that need to be updated. I was maybe considering like doing one, like the first one myself, just to set the expectation of what needs to be done later. I was gonna reach out to Daniel, but I've been a little bit busy with other stuff.
Oh, everyone is. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Let's do it. So, discussed during SIG-etcd triage. There are a number of modules that need updating. So we could... I've got a comment in chat.
Oh, he's here.
You're here, awesome. Been swamped. Okay, yeah, no problem. So let's... are you right if we invite a bit more, try and get a few more contributors to help out with some of the different modules and just break it up a bit, Daniel?
And again, okay. And then I'll do the first one, so it's easier for other people to see what exactly needs to be done.
So we can do it one module at a time. The D trip. Let us know which module you will focus on. And we can assign out the others. Okay, so for others on the call, if you're looking for a good first issue, please leave a comment in this issue and feel free to pick up one of the other modules that Daniel isn't working on. Okay, cool. Moving forward. How are we going for time? 9 minutes. Okay, so next up we've got a flaky test. I think this one's quite rare. I had a look in test grid. So we look at the, where are we? SIG-etcd, where are you? Here we go, look at our pre-submits. And look at the end-to-end x86 tests. And just grab that time to live. We can filter by regex. There we go. Cool, I had to scroll through this. I'll put this on compact. There's only 2 failures. And nothing for, it's almost maybe a couple of weeks. I think the next step for this would be to try and get a flake, an error rate using something like stress.
Mm-hmm.
So basically you can kind of rerun the test a whole bunch of times and just see how often you can get it to actually fail. There's some instructions on how to do that actually earlier in our meeting doc here. We've kind of gone through and discussed it during a previous meeting. If someone does want to have, sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna suggest that maybe we should put the documentation on how to replicate the flakes, because it's spread in the document, in the community document, and it's also in some. So I think Marek also refers to them in some gists. So maybe we should have an official document on how to do it.
That's probably a good idea. Yeah, I think Kubernetes project have their docs for it. I'm not sure if we've actually written that up anywhere properly.
I don't
yet.
think so, because the last time I was trying to do it, I was looking like, oh yeah, I remember it was in some issue. Hold on, it was in the document, so it's not very straightforward. We could do it better, I think.
Cool. Yeah. So next step, we'll try and get that tested with stress. If someone does want to have a go at that, I'm happy to help provide that documentation. We do have it written up. It's just not easily accessible currently. Feel free to leave a comment in there. I can assign you and point you to those docs, and we can just try and get that percentage for failure first, and then decide what we want to do after that. Okay, next up, we've got a PR to follow up. This is a really quick one. We just need to ask for a rebase. I think it was actually really quite close. But yeah, it hasn't been touched since July, so Jessica Skering SIG SCD triage. We'll ask Shen to rebase that for us. Okay, cool. That's a quick one. Last main etcd repo item to look at before we look at the website.
I just put this. So this is my contribution. If you don't recognize it, so basically, I got a notification. So this contributor commented on the 3.4 release, and then I think, so he was asking like, why is, so there's no clear direction on if we're gonna move forward or not. So basically he doesn't have a review, but then commented like, oh yeah, we need more tests for this, but hasn't been communicated clearly to him.
Okay, let's just take a moment then to reread through the issue, then the PR, and just see if we can put together a response for them. Right. Okay, so Benjamin's commented on it. It is valid. All right, now let's have a read of the PR.
I think basically
Nothing.
Ben is saying that it needs more tests because it's changing the main component from the etcd server. But maybe what we need is ask Benjamin, like, what tests are you expecting? Right, so this contributor can move forward.
Yep. Okay, let's leave a comment on the pull request. So get to the triage meeting. Could you please take a look at this PR and provide some guidance on next steps? Okay, we'll see what Benjamin thinks. I agree we need to give clearer guidance on which, what areas of test coverage need to be improved.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any, let's just double check. I don't think there's any test. There's a little bit of a change, but no new cases, right? Okay, all right. We don't want to spend too much time on that. I've got a couple minutes left. Let's just have a quick look at a couple website items. first one, I think we were super close to merging this.
Oh, I just commented on this before the meeting.
Cool. Let's have a look. Yeah, so 3.6 says it's draft. Yeah, I'm happy with that because it is, 3.6 hasn't actually been released yet, so I'm happy. If
Okay,
you're
so
happy, let's merge this thing.
I can do an LG Timmy.
Yep.
LG Timmy.
Awesome.
Cool.
And I'll just sanity check. The issue I had was 3.4. Yeah, perfect. Okay, cool. Get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that. Yeah, we can merge this, get that out of the queue, I think. Job done. And there's an issue associated to this that we can close, which is not called out here. So let's find that. I think it was like under overrides. Yeah, we just need to decide if there's any other overrides. Okay, I'll come back to that. We've got a couple of items in our list here. One other PR that we need to decide if it's ready for merge. This is adding our working group meetings for the etcd operator to our etcd.io/community page. I've had a look at it. It was looking pretty good. There was a nitpick from Sadev just around whether we say just like formatting for AM. So I'm not too worried by that. I think we should just proceed.
Maybe we can merge and we can do it in a follow-up because the contributor didn't reply back, so maybe we should just merge.
Yeah, and I think I've already actually approved it, haven't I? Oh,
it's
maybe
just
not. Okay, I'll just put an LGTM on that and we can merge it. Cool. That's one less out of the queue, and we're actually over time, so we probably need to wrap up. Okay, cool. There was actually one other item I'll just very quickly mention. It is a good first issue. So if you're brand new to the etcd project, feel free to take a look at this. It'll get you using etcd CTL and just updating one of our tutorial pages to make it a little bit clearer. Feel free to drop a comment in there if you're interested, and I'm happy to assign it out. Team, we're over time. Thank you very much for coming along to this triage session. Great meeting, and I hope to see you in a week's time for the regular etcd community meeting. Have a lovely rest of your day. We'll see you later.
Thanks, likewise.
Bye.